Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be showing my shirt journey to Osu Castle in Accra, Ghana. During my video, I was approached by a couple of locals who wanted to show off their stores. So if you are interested in purchasing, you can see their information in the caption below.
Picture support, show the people out there. Okay. Welcome.
We are outside.
My name is Kwame. You're welcome, my sister. This is Osu Street, Ghana. I'm with my people. We hustle on the street. That's what we do. Let's go have a look. We are going to my auntie's place. Yeah.
You came to Republic before? Republic. Republic, the club, the big club.
Oh no, I
This way.
It's here on the shop right
Hello?
So my sister, relocate. It's Osu Street. This way. So this way. Go to Nyango.
My name is Steven.
Oh, nice to meet you, Steven.
Africa culture.
My sister, you're about to cross the street. My sister, come over. You're welcome. This is the place. Welcome. Yeah, this is the auntie's place. You can start from here. This is what we do in Africa. You know, African culture. You know, we set this product all from the the villages. That's our mothers and forefathers. That's what we were doing before. So, and you go to the village in the northern part of Ghana, in Ashanti. That's what we do. And also do all the African symbols. This is a pen stand. You can stand for your table, dining table, and also have the cowboys, the elephant, made by the beads, all from Africa. Because Africa, we bless and we know how to make everything by our hand. And these all are the necklaces. The necklace bamboo. And you can see. Sorry. Don't worry. I'll do everything. This is our symbol. This means everybody is the star. And you see how the star like that? Mean everybody, even Africa is the star. As you can see. We also have all necklaces. These are the books, fabrics, and you can come on. This is our sister Kia. It's a seller. It's selling off Osu Street, Ghana. So any support from the way, all from the foreigners, they can see Osu Street, Kwame's auntie's place. They can support. And these are the fabrics. We have all the bags, the traveling bags, the backpacks. These are the fabrics, as you can see over there. And these are the shirts, as you can see here too. We have all the materials so far, like the dresses, like this. Yeah, we have dresses, we have everything like this. We also have the weaving cape. Sometimes when the sun's rise, the beach, maybe summertime, there's a summer hat. Yeah, that's African made. So there's the auntie's place. We have all African kind of goods. When it comes about the maxes, you have all maxes, Ghana flags. As you can see, you have all flags there. Sorry. We have all flags like this, presenting Ghana. We also ship. We also give the shipping and everything. We also sell to only the parliament, the presidential areas. This is the original flag. Yeah. And this is a Owari. This is in those days, our games in the village we used to play. In the village, before we used the ground to make some holes, some 6 holes, and we play. And now we make it as a game. That's Owari. The name called Owari. So it's like me and you play together. It's a marbles. Yeah. It's also we showed, and those time in our village we used to use the bamboo to make the music. This is my piano. So you do, like this. Like that, yeah. the music. In those times, those villages we used to play. They tend the villages because in the village don't have electricity. It's the music. You know, also have the bags, and this is the local beats. It's our own tradition local. This local beat means any word means that you're from the royal palace. Maybe your family members, maybe your family, your uncle, maybe it's a king. So it's like you are from the king's palace. And we're wearing this plus the kente. Take a picture with the family, African family. And you see your family from Ashanti, Cape Coast, Ghana, either it was North, you need to dress with the beads, with the fabric, or traditional fabric. Take a picture of the family nicely. That's in Africa. There's Ghana. Also have the short, there's the Ghana caps, made it with the caps, all made it. And this is the leather purse. The leather purse can put your money, it's like wallet. Put your money, your dollar, everything. We made it by the hand. That's our forefathers and our grandfathers in the village out there. They made it. That's a real leather. You can put your money, your card, your everything. That's what we do. Yeah, so you're welcome. My sister, where are you from?
Canada.
Canada. You're welcome. We have been in technical school that's made by the Canadians. In those days, Kwame is our first president of Ghana. And it was by the Canadians students that they made the technical university in Ghana. So that's where I went. That's a KTI University. That's the Canadian Technical Institute in Kumasi. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
So that's me, Kwame, as a seller, also as an artist. You know, we make all those things from the way from Kumasi. Yeah, we have everything, as you can see.
Do you have a card or anything else?
Oh, we have card.
Your contact information.
Yeah, we have card now, so I can give you one of our cards. This is our card. This is my auntie's card. That's my auntie's name. Yeah, so I work with my auntie. You know, trying to help her, trying to do to survive. You know.
Kwame.
You know.
Oh, said come on. What for there was how? So we you
Thank you.
Oh yeah, why
yeah, but no the film now they have Canada. So that's the fabric as you can see. And that's the real kente fabric. This is a hand weave kente fabric. This is a kente.
Yes.
You have more color. This is a hand weave from the village. And you go to the village, this is a bone ray. As you can see, most of when you go to Kumasi, bone ray is the people that made kente, handmade, most of them in the village. So that's a rare kente, and it's a fabric. You sew by yourself, any material, any style you want. You buy it and you sew it by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is the hand bracelet. This is the hand bracelet. These are keychains. These are keychains. You know, keychains. These are safeguard keychains. These are old village house keychains. And that's our current keychains. We have all keychains that we made in different styles. And this means a thinking man. This means a thinking man. Was the village thinking how, you know, you're gonna do at the village those time. You have to, you know, think before you do something better. Yeah, that's how. And this is a king assistant, the horn blower. This is the king assistant, the horn blower. Blow the horn to the village, the people to know the rule and regulation that we're gonna do. So cow sound like lion. We have all different type of it. But as you can see, this is the word for this African rice. In Africa, and the two black, three strong. Rice the ball, rice Africa.
Okay.
And these are olden days. Our mothers used to carry things in their head. This is the pot of life. The pot of life. This was our mothers, fourth mothers. Yeah. Same pregnancy, having the baby at the back, but still working hard. See, that's Africa. And this is the bowl. This is a unique bowl of life. This is a unique bowl of life. You can put your everything, your fruit, everything, as you can see the bit in here. Anything you want to put in your dining table. But also, it's easy to carry like this. See the people. They're three strong, three black strong. That's how I make. Yeah. And this is a bracelet of life. This is a local bracelet. Yeah, as you can see. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a local bracelet all the way from Africa.
Okay, I'll
Ashanti
share all
Northern
your
region.
info online and people can come.
Yeah. You're welcome. So anytime you are ready, you can come to our friends, show them what we do in Africa. We are also active. That's my brother who's showing you over out there. As you can see the dresses, we have all the types, all the dresses, all the types. The earrings too. The African earrings, as you can see. The earring, the fabric. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So anything you need, come to Kwame's place. I give you a good discount.
Okay, thank you. Charity.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll share your store, okay?
Yeah, also. It's free. Yes, I'm here. And we have this one too. Yes, you open it. You have the necklace set. Everything set. Every kente. I have this one, everything. Inside too. And I have the artwork. This one is some papa. Never forget where you are coming from. I have them in different.
Okay.
Yes, these have more dresses. I have the fridge, magnet, and all the key chains. I love Africa, Ghana, the land of minerals, the land of gold, and everything. Hello? Hello? Yes. And this one also. Will you go to you? That I'm again. That I'm again. It's my left phone. Yeah, you check this one. Check this one also. This one, it has a scarf. This one, oh yeah, today. And this one too. This one is a long dress with sleeveless. And this one has a thing. And I have the artworks also here. I have the artworks here also. You can check the one that you like. Hello, Tora. I'm not calling a customer. Where's the one? My woman. Yo. And this one too. This one is one. I have them big in different sizes. And Mama Africa also. Why yet my woman can sell 1,001 customer boys here? My woman. And this one is the ashtray. This is the ashtray. Yeah, the elephant ashtray.
Okay, thank you. And Charity, do you have a card too?
A card? Yeah, I can give you my number, but for now the card is finished.
Okay, I'll say your number, please.
Yeah, my WhatsApp number
Yes.
is 055 138 5155.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I wish you come back to me next time.
Yes.
Second?
Yes.
That's where I stay. Osu.
Yes.
Osu, I started Independence.
Oh, okay.
That's Square. You can check here too.
Oh, I'm just gonna walk now. Hello.
Then you can check it. You can go to the beach. Some of the beach they want to make there like Labadi Beach. They want to make the house, plenty house for them. So you can go to Osu Beach. You can take the picture for the boat side or the castle inside.
Okay.
Ghana is good. But USA too, also there is They have the place that snow is. They have the place that snow is. Mama be rough. Hey, maybe I didn't know. Mama be rough. No, fuck.
Oh, thank you.
Look at mine. See.
Oh,
This one's
nice.
a sticker. Take a picture. Yeah,
Take a
see.
picture.
Nice one. We are outside Ghana. Here is Ghana. Ghana.
This capital show me Jackie Chan. Hey, let me go there. Okay.
Nice one.
You love me. You know, call us. Chale, mamundi echio. Mamundi. Ipa udia mi pa mucho.
So as you can see, the road is a bit more rough. I'm off of the main road. They haven't put much infrastructure into this road at the moment, but I realized that the path that I am taking is not the route I should have been taking. There is a better road on the other side, but this is the local neighborhood, and as you can see, you get to experience what the neighborhood looks like around the ocean and the castle itself. If you are enjoying this video, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you liked and didn't like about this video. Also, you can support the 2 local entrepreneurs that showcase their business at the beginning of the video with the information in the description, and you can also support this channel with the information in the description below. So in this clip, I was stopped for a moment because the guys were smoking weed, and if you don't know, it's illegal to smoke weed in Ghana, so they had like a little bit of issue possibly being seen on camera because they do not want to get in trouble, and smoking weed is illegal there. So they had stopped me and asked me about if I was taking pictures of them, and I told them no, and then I continued on my way towards the beach in order to cross over to the castle. Okay, so my apologies, guys. I did not realize that that guy was peeing. In Ghana, there's no rules about peeing outside, so people just end up stopping and peeing wherever they need to go pee. So that was capturing this video in this moment, and I was not paying attention, so sorry. And I apologize because the video is very rocky right now. I'm walking across the sand, and I promise the video does get better very soon, but it's a little bit of a bumpy ride at the moment, so just stay tuned and continue following me on this journey. So here we have made it to Osu Castle. I am preparing to get inside and start the full guided tour. I am walking towards where we will start the tour, and our tour guide is in the purple, and there's also a few other people involved in the tour as well that are going to listen in and gain some knowledge.
So we are going to start with a brief introduction about the place. And after we move around,
Okay.
it's going to be an interactive tour.
Okay.
This is a castle that was first built or established around 1661 as a trade post by the Danish. It has been to be a Danish extension or establishment as a trade post, basically in trading of major commodities like alcoholic beverages, tobaccos, gunpowder, rum, textiles, muskets, and other food products. And they used to get gold, bauxite, ivory from our local indigenous people. So it continued, and at a point in time, they decided to sell this castle to the Portuguese. The Portuguese took over this castle from the Danish around 1679. Then only built a Catholic chapel at that period, but only stayed for a short period, only for 4 years, from 1679 until 1683. It was due to a major reason because the Portuguese were being sabotaged within the local communities. The Portuguese were unaware of it that they were being sabotaged by some of the European countries who were trying to take over this colony from them. Before they could realize, most of the people refused not to trade with them. They became frustrated and decided to leave this part of the colony. And when they were leaving because they bought it from the Danish, so they did also decided to sell this castle also. So when they were selling it, the Danish people came back again for the second time, acquired this castle back from the Portuguese, then continued their trading activities. So all this while, it was all about trading of commodities. But right after the Danish people came back for the second time from 1683, it was then that they initiated the slavery business. So slave trade in this castle was actually initiated by the Danish. Yeah, from the 1600s, they started it partially. But it later became well established for them from the 1700s till they abolished it in 1807. They were the first among the European countries to stop slavery. So from 1807, they stopped being slave trade in this castle, but still occupied this castle until 1850. So when they were leaving, they decided to sell this colony. And the British signed an agreement with them and paid an amount of £10,000 sterling to acquire this castle from them. So initially, the British were occupying the Cape Coast Castle. So that's the main base. So after acquiring this castle from the Danish, they then moved from the Cape Coast Castle and came to occupy this castle. But within this period, the British only did governance and administration within this castle. Within this castle, the British were not involved in slavery. But when they were about to bought it from the Danish, they were about to stop slavery business. So they couldn't control the slavery business in this castle. They only did governance until they granted us our independence on 6th of March, 1957. And our first leader or president, Dr. Kwame, officially chose this place to be the seat of government. So formally, this is where the seat of government of the Republic of Ghana appears to be. From 1957 all over till February 2013. Just 10 years ago, this is where Ghanaian president is working from, before moving to the new one that we call the Jubilee House or the old Flagstaff House. So the British also did some major extensions. We are going to see the Danish extensions, the Portuguese extension, and the British extension. So let's walk inside to explore the castle. We are allowed to take pictures. This main entrance that we are looking at was extended around 1790 by the Danish. And the symbol that we see over there, that's a symbol of one of their king that they call King Christian VII of Denmark. That's the symbol over there. Starting the first floor offices over there, and those storage facilities below it. And the staircase over there, that's the first extension of this castle within 1661, named after King Christian IV. And those that we see at the right hand side, those rooms below it, were also storage facilities to keep their product inside. Within the same period, 1661, but that portion was named after King Christian VI. And those that we see at the right side, down this body, they're all also Danish extensions around 1791. Also, that part also named after King Christian VII. But these are the British extension. The edifice that we are looking at over there, the year 1921, that's the first British extension. It is administration office for the British government and staffs. And the symbol over that, it happens to be the symbol of King George V of United Kingdom. and from 1950s to are all British machines. So that contains the residence, the conference room, and the dining hall for the British governor and his family. And the last part was this and an extension also for the British governor. In case you have a visitor, this is where you normally use them. And as I said, for the Portuguese, it's only a Catholic church that we are going to see on top over there that they did extend it. Let's first see a water system. It was a water system that was used to collect water during the rainy season. During the rainy season, when it is rain, they divert all the rainwater falling from the storage facilities. The water running within the courtyard to fall inside. Because after the rainy season, this is what they are going to be depending on. Fetch it for the bathing, washing, cooking, whatever, until the next rainy season annually. And the inscription that we are looking over there, that's the old language, that's the old Danish language. They try to give a fair understanding of wherever they go, the dimensions, and the period that it took them to build it. So for the dimensions, the depth that we are looking at is 23 feet deep, and the breadth is 53 feet wide. So it is very, very wide. And it took them 10 years to build it, from 1753 until 1763. But you don't use it to store water anymore, that's why you see it dry. It is empty now. It contains about 60,000 gallons of water. That's a roughly estimation, about 60,000 gallons of water we will able to contain. So we pass by to see the nature of the storage facilities before the climate. So these are extensions that they kept on the specific products. The first part, that's where they kept the boxes of gun and gunpowder, ammunition that they brought to trade with our local people. This is where they store them. It has two major entrances. The first entrance, the second entrance that leads you to the main storage center. And the second one that we see at this side, that's where they kept the boxes of gold and ivory in boxes. They pack them inside. So it contains two entrances. And those that we see at this side, that's where they kept the boxes of tobaccos, alcoholic beverages, the brandings, the rum, the textiles. It goes all around.
So why did they build this like a dungeon?
No, that was intended not to be a dungeon, but that's why they built the gate, the entrance. It's one of the old entrances that we are looking at for so many years. It's over 200 years.
Okay.
So it goes around. They've opened one of the storage facilities for us to walk inside, at least to have a look. So we use this side to walk into one of the major. So this is an extension of the water. It collects water from this side and joins the other one. So this is a major storage center. They kept boxes of tobaccos, alcoholic beverages, and other products here. Same goes to other one. That's how it looks like. And they put it in such a way that they could access all the storage facilities from a tunnel that they put just behind it to be linking each other. So I'm going to have a walk within one of the tunnels to see the nature of it. It is there that you see the ventilation that's in the storage facilities. You can't turn on the flashlight now. It's a bit dark. It's a sewage pipeline. So as you can see, there's an extension here that you pack product here also. And there's a source of ventilation for it. And the ocean, you can see the ocean or the sea just behind it. It goes inside. So there's another one over here. They could pack enough product here also, which has a ventilation behind it. And it goes again. You can see there's another one over here. So you see how they could access it all over. So those are from this side to join the other ones. That we can see.
Go.
Yeah, it's a small adventure. So you see, so there's a tunnel here, which goes inside. Then to join those that we see at the further side. I want you to see some of the layers of the stones over there. Yeah, it's amazing. So you could see the layers of stones. So at the beginning it was all put with layers of. Some of these stones came all over from Denmark and Norway. Not all of it that they got from here. Because when they were standing the castle at a point in time, some of the ships were both bringing stones from Denmark and from Norway that they used it to do the extension. So you could see a long tunnel which goes all over to this side. So from where they could access all the storage facilities. If you look, there's a long tunnel which leads you to the storage facilities that we see. You could see that, you see that small tunnel. So you could walk and you find yourself within the major storage facilities that we see at the other side. So that's why they normally access it all over. Tunnels of tunnels.
Oh, is it block?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you go there, you're going to find yourself within the major warehouses at that side.
Oh.
There's no treasure hidden in the castle, right?
No, they've taken all the treasures away.
Are we sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've taken all the treasures. They didn't let anything there.
They check all the stones, maybe there are a couple of stones there.
Ooh, you never know, maybe there's something hidden. You never know, maybe there's something hidden.
Yeah, there could be something. Yeah, there could be something.
Secret.
Probably there's another one, but it's still this side. So you walk through this side to access the other one storage facilities. That's where it goes.
Why we the stairs and the
I was thinking about it. Yeah,
thinking in there.
So before we climb up, you could see the staircase. It has been partitioned. The one that we see in the middle, we call it the presidential staircase. Hello? Hello? If you bring me the bike right now, I won't take fuel, I beg you. If you bring me the bike right now, they won't give me fuel, I won't put fuel for inside. Oh. Okay, I beg you fast more. They won't give me fuel, I won't put fuel, they won't give me fuel, I beg you. Yeah. So this is what we call the presidential staircase, or the walkway. So meaning when the president were working within the castle, it was only the president of the day that was allowed to use this staircase. And it has been used to host so many presidents around the world, including the late Queen Elizabeth II, the late President Mandela, ex-President Clinton, and also ex-President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle Obama. We were all once hosted in this castle before by some of our leaders. So they decided to maintain it that way until now. It is only when there's a president visiting this castle, a vice president, a prime minister, a top dignitary, that they do allow them to access it also in giving them the same respect. So that's why we see it doing now. And so no matter when the president has a visitor, that's why they put the red carpet laid on top of it all over to the downstairs. So that's why you see it being painted there, because it serves as a ceremonial walkway for the president at that time. So we're going to climb up to see this extension, the chapel, then come back again to continue with the major part of the tour. Yeah. I'm going up. So you could choose to use those on the other side.
Okay.
Maybe the next time that you come back, we'll have governor used to stay on top over here. That's the president. Him and his family. Yeah, that's the deputy governor staying. You have a good photo from this side. You have a pool. That's a small pool for the British governor and his family. So you normally drop down here to have time, maybe to soothe him and his family.
Oh, okay.
This cable is correct.
Yeah, so it used to be serving this pole was serving it. And they are innovating. There's an echo after that. Maritime coordination center. What do you mean? It's a fishing village. It's got a fishing boat to buy. Fishing. And then Elizabeth II came to visit Ghana in 1961. So she was hosted in this apartment. You are going to see the bedroom that she used at that time.
Oh, Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, the second one just died. So it was 1961. She came to visit Ghana. So the major reason was that when Kwame led us to gain our independence from the British, he was trying to take Ghana from all the British associations, including the Commonwealth of Nations. So Ghana was a key member. So he was trying to withdraw Ghana from it. So, and the British were not happy about that. So Queen Elizabeth II, who just died, the late, actually took a decision to embark for a journey so that she come to convince him to still let Ghana be part of the Commonwealth of Nations. So she came at that time and they had a peaceful negotiations and understanding. So it went on successfully. So Kwame Nkrumah decided not to withdraw Ghana from the Commonwealth of Nations. So within the same period we attained our Republican status from them here. So Ghana became a fully independent country. Because when they gained independence from them, we were still part of their monarch. We were only having a prime minister. So in 1961, we attained a Republican status and Kwame Nkrumah then became a full ceremonial president of Ghana. So this is where she stayed at that time. She spent 9 days. The same bed that she used, the wardrobe, and then she to the washroom and the bathroom that she used at that time. It used to be a wooden floor that had been replaced because it had been deteriorating. In maintaining it. And it's just a small bathroom. That's where the bathroom is. Have a view of the courtyard from the balcony in the other part of the castle. You only walk down to stand there, yeah. And so apart from the late Queen Elizabeth II, King Charles was also once hosted in this apartment before, also used this room before. Yeah. But then he was a prince. He also came to visit this colony for an assignment. And this is where he stayed for a few days before he returned back to the United Kingdom. So there contains the sitting room, the dining hall. It was a complete residence, just that over there has been demarcated into an office now. Right. Formerly it was a complete residence, and this is where the bedroom that she stayed was also King Charles' time. The ceilings are made that's what designed. Hello. Fish. So you can see there was a small fountain here with water running out for inside. So this was well designed and mounted there by the British. So they receive visitors and go up there. That's why the British governor has a small conference room and it's major dining hall. And as I said, when we took over from them here, over there was converted to serve as the Oval Office for the president. So this is where the president goes with his visitors and they go up for a meeting. There's a major innovation about to start. So we start just over here and have a view on top. So this is a major wall. The British called it the Credential Hall. The British owned it around 19. It was known as the Credential Hall. So it contains a conference room there and the dining hall. So the tables that we see are over 150. There's a restoration project about to start. Right. So they've evacuated most of the items. They are going to try to put it back and mount it back again. The table that we see over there is over 150 years old. The same as the that we see over there, the chairs over there. So the dining hall was here and the conference room was, and this is a major one. The small balcony over there. It was all brought from the United Kingdom, the table that we are looking at. It was all brought from the United Kingdom. That's the former Oval Office over there.
Okay.
Former Oval Office of the President.
Can I sit in a chair or take a picture? Chair.
Oh, no, no.
It's too dirty.
Yes.
You know the furniture.
When?
Where are you from?
Canada.
Canada. Ontario, Quebec.
Ontario.
Ontario. So there was a short exit from the residence of the British governor then to the conference room. So when the president was here, the same route. So the president can exit from his residence and use this gate and mix his verse. Over all this. So drop down to pass by to see where the chapel is. Then continue to the next part. So, this is where the chapel is. So there's a major renovation going on. They are going to replace the floor with a different material. So this chapel was built by the Portuguese around 1679. They call it St. Francis Xavier Catholic Chapel. The main reason behind it was to use to maintain the moral standard of their workers within the castle. They realized at a point in time most of their workers were involved in activities that were against their Christian faith. So that's why they tried to build this small chapel in the castle to be used to maintain their moral standard. When the British came, the British converted it into an Anglican chapel. And when the Portuguese built it, they named it St. Francis Xavier Roman Catholic Chapel. So apart from being used as a church room, during the daytime, it serves as a classroom. This is where they educate the younger ones. They give their children education. And all these educational facilities and the church activities wasn't extended to the local communities close to them. No, it was only their children who benefited from this educational system. That's how biased it is. They never allowed the children from the local communities to benefit from this education. Even though some of the priests tried to convince the governors, but they refused. And at a point in time, they only grant them access for only Sundays church service that would allow the children from the communities to come and learn something about the Christian gospel. That was it. And when we took over from the British, one of our presidents has used this chapel before for his morning devotion church service. So the ones who located it before. By the same old congregational church that we are looking at. And this glass table was also brought when the president decided to use it. You see some portraits over there of two great personalities. The first one, the smaller one, happens to be the portrait of our first president, Dr. Kwame. But the second one, we call him Nana Asmini. He's a Ghanaian that one became a governor of this castle. So all the first castles in West Africa is the only black person that become a governor of one of the castles, which is located in Ghana. This man once served as a cook to the Danish within this castle. He actually came as a spy. When the Danish people went to slavery business, the community that he comes from were not happy about it, so they wanted to stop it. But they want to fight again. Before they could fight them, they wanted to know their weaknesses. So this man was sent as a spy from his community to come and spy on the Danish within this castle. He came and infiltrated the castle and was employed to be part of their coup. They never knew that he came to spy on them. So while serving the Danish within this castle, he took his time to study their weaknesses in this castle, learn their language, also learn how they were training. He was able to serve them for a long period until he decided to stop working with them. Then went back to his communities. And his uncle was then the chief of his community. So he was able to mobilize about 80 strong people to join him to come and attack the Danish people in this castle. So they came around 1693, attacked the Danish people, and they were able to defeat them. He was selected to be the leader of this castle. So he became a governor of this castle. That's why you see wearing the uniform. He was adored as a governor of this castle. But served for 1 year. From 1693 until 1694. Because in 1694, the Danish king in Denmark sent some delegations to come and negotiate with him. So they came in to negotiate with him. And they paid him money, which is 50 marks of gold, before returning this castle back to the Danish. And he left with his warriors from the castle. So from 1694, the Danish people took it back again until they sold it to the British. So that's the story of Nana Asmini. Go to the next part. so the whole friend, the whole and Kwame would be so that that's what we saw protest to the pack with the pack gate now, and first I follow more. No catch up on me, some friend, me, friend. I have a laptop to mom, for mom. Oh, he's around the way to Amon. Or glass on wine. So here give us an extensive view of the new castle. The offices that we're looking at over there was extended their own government, Ghanaian government. It was extended to create additional offices for the president and his vice president. So that's where the president was starting his special office, same as the vice president. It was put strategically to join the old one, where the Oval Office, so that the president can work from his personal office to the Oval Office. That's why they put it strategically. So that new one was extended around 1970s. And you can see this is one of the old cannon that you could see within the castle. That's a carrier. And there used to be a flag pole. So from here we see the secret office of one of our presidents, our longest serving president.
Which president was this?
Right. That's his portrait on top of one. He's our longest serving president. He has ruled Ghana for about 19 years.
19.
Yeah, partly as a military president and partly a democratic president. So this man, when he was the president, when he made his first coup d'etat, he was a military officer. He was a flight lieutenant from a junior rank, but he was able to make a successful coup d'etat because he had the backing of most of the junior officers within the military. Yeah, so that's where he had the support from. So he's able to overthrow the then government based on issues of corruption and other allegations. When this man took over power, he knew he had enemies. People were trying to attack him within the military, the senior officers. They knew that he was a junior officer. Hello? Promise, make I call you back. I will work. I will make a finish. I will call you back. I beg you. I will call you back. So he knew he has enemies within the military, especially the majors and the generals. They were trying to take over power for him. So he was very cautious. He decided not to work him from where the president was having his office. He came and chose this office strategically as a secret personal office. He chose this place because he wanted to protect himself from his enemies. Because working in this office, you're able to spy on people from different directions. Able to see anyone coming from afar. You can see it clearly before getting to the main entrance of the castle. And told this side to the communities very close to the castle, was able to have a view of it. Because the trees in this garden were not allowed to grow past the limit that it could have a view of the communities formally. And told this side he was able to see some part of the castle. So strategically, he was able to escape from 4 attacks in this castle. Yeah, it was once attacked in this castle about 4 times. He was able to escape from those attacks. Because those who attacked him at that time never knew that this is where he was then occupying as his personal office. So we call it his secret personal office. So he used this office for a long period. So when later he became a democratic president, he later resigned as a military officer and formed his own political party. He was elected. So at that time he started using the office that the president was supposed to be working for. So these are some of the things that they use: the telephone, chairs, also over there. It's the same design of the building, but this office was formerly used by the British government. So this is where the personal office of the British governor used to be when they were administrating the castle. Don't worry, you don't have to, then I'll bring you back to what I said before you go. You join me the food, then I'll bring you back. You are going down to start in the slavery part of the top. No, you are going this side. No, follow him. Follow daddy. Don't come into me. No, I will see you later. Sorry, sir. You stand over here on this courtyard. We are back to the main courtyard of the castle. When the castle was first built around 1661, this was part of it. Here was the main courtyard. So this is where the local indigenous people were bringing their crops, their spices, their gold, their ivory. And they come to trade with the white Europeans within this castle. So this is where the Europeans normally line up their alcoholic beverages, the tobaccos, the gunpowder, the rum, the musket, the brandies, whiskeys and other products. So whatever you want, you point whatever you want and they value your product. If it is gold ounces that you have, they value it. If it is bags of crops or spices that you have, they value it. So they negotiate and they give you product and they got whatever you have from them, you have with you. So at the beginning it is a win-win situation. So there's a peaceful coexistence between them and our local indigenous people. It was until when they initiated the slavery business. And as I said, within this castle, the slavery business was initiated by the Danish within the 1600s for a long period. Most people never knew that they were part of slavery in Ghana. So when they started it, this is where their slave merchants do something what we call the marking or the branding system. It was a symbol of identification. That is what the slave masters or the merchants used to recognize their various slaves. And these slave merchants, at the beginning, because they cannot move into the local communities to select people as slaves, they collaborated some of our local people into this business. And these are people that we call slave hunters. Some call them slave warriors, some even call them slave raiders. These individuals attack communities to kidnap innocent men and women, giving them to the white Europeans for product. At the beginning, that's the sad part. People were using human beings to get alcoholic beverages, tobaccos, gunpowder, and gold ounces. And they have no sympathy. They just pick the kind of people that they want. They are coming, people are running away. They are very furious. They use guns and gunpowder to attack communities. So the age range that they want to start from the late 15 years onwards to early 40 years. If you fall within this age range and you are physically fit, you are qualified to be taken away. And even if you are a lady, they even take ladies away. Before you are physically fit, they take you away unless you are pregnant if you are a lady or you are disabled. These are the kind of people that they considered in this, and some royal families. And few communities who were able to resist those attacks from these slave hunters were able to, were lucky not to be involved in this business. But majority part of the colony was exposed to this evil act. It became an evil act of business because at a point in time, we have several groups of these slave hunters who were fighting for these innocent people as slaves, to be selling them to the white slave merchants. So after kidnapping them from their various communities and villages, they would then take them to places that we call slave market. And these slave markets are also dotted within the colonies. It is at the slave market that these slave merchants come to trade with them. So within this Danish slave enclave, a slave at a slave market was equivalent to 40 pounds of gunpowder. A slave at that time was worth 40 pounds of gunpowder. If it is gold ounces that you want, a slave was worth 6 ounces of gold. And it is the currency that you want to, it was 96 Danish dollar. So this is the first part. You have people that we call slave agents. So they buy these slaves from the slave market at, let's say, 96 Danish dollar. When they brought them into the southern part where the major castles are, or when there's a slave ship parked along the coastline and buy slaves, they will sell them to them in an amount of 128 Danish dollar. So it became a business that we have a lot of people involved in it. You have slave agents, the middlemen, they are the middlemen. You have the major slave merchants who were buying the slaves before transporting them away. So after buying them from the slave market, the slaves have to walk for so many kilometers. So many, not all of them made it to the castle. Some fall along the way and they died. And these are individuals that they never count them in this slavery business.
And most often too, they never tell about their stories. So it's the surviving ones that they brought them into this castle and group all of them. Every slave merchant have to group his slave at one side, marking them before putting them into the slave dungeon. And all of them have a stamp. Half of the stamp is made of metal, which contains the symbol of the slave master. Some use their initials, some also use their serial numbers to do this marking. They put it in the hot fire. Then from the hot fire, they used to burn the skins of these innocent people. Some burn it on their hand, some prefer to burn it on their chest, some do it on their shoulder, even some do it on their forehead. It depends on whatever a slave merchant wants to mark you with his initial. After the marking or the branding was done here, they put all of them in slave shackles. I hope you know what a slave shackle is. The chains that were used to chains our ancestors. Normally, a slave shackle was able to connect 50 people at a go. That's how they do it, so that it will be difficult for one individual slave to escape. There's a chain put in between your hand, connected to that of your partner, another one in between your leg to your partner, there's another two around your neck to that of your partner, which is about 2 to 3 feet of interval. So whatever your partner moves, move your partner. So after trapping them in these slave shackles, they then match all of them into the various slave dungeons. This was a major storage center for storage of bags of crops and spices. So after I initiated the slavery business, they converted it into a slave dungeon. You are going to walk in to see the first slave dungeon within this castle.
From my marriage.
Okay.
The thing about the chain?
Yeah.
It's not so different from my marriage.
Oh, wow.
In a way.
Oh, that's how you feel?
That's the same level of darkness. You can turn on a flashlight on. Which is too dark for you. So this is where they stored people as slaves before taking them away. The dungeons are actually transition points because the slaves, the individuals have to just be waiting for the slave ship to come and evacuate them away. So where we are standing up used to be the first confine, which contains 100 slaves as a minimum. Yeah, 100 people were kept here as a minimum, and maximum was 150 people. The same quantity goes to the next extension. 100 people was the lowest, 150 people was the maximum. And they were kept in between 3 months to 6 months. So the least month you spend was 3 months to 4 months. Maximum was up to 6 months. So that's the number of period that they take before they buy people that they want before they take them away. And yearly, the slave ship back on journey twice a year. So the first 6 months, a lot of slaves were being brought up to be taken away. And the next half of the year too, another group of slave ship will come and evacuate them. So that's why it takes about 3 months to 6 months for them to be kept in these slave dungeons. And keeping them here, defecating, urinating, vomiting, the ladies having their menstruations, they do it in this same conference that they kept them. We were exposed to germs and diseases, some had infections, they died because they never attended to them. If you are not feeling well, no one attend to you. So if you cannot stand your feet, then you just have to die. Those who died, their dead bodies were being taken away from these slave dungeons and being dumped somewhere else. And at the beginning too, because this was the only place that they kept them, they combined both female and male slaves together, all half naked. They only allowed them to cover the jet part. And they feed them once a day. That's what they used to make them look it. We call it artificial starving. Because they realized that even though the slaves were into slave shackles, some of them were very strong that they always tried to put resistance against them. So they became afraid. That's why they introduced this starving system to make them look weak. So they feed you once a day. Gradually, the slaves begin to become very weak and lame. That's what they're going to maintain all of them. They only start to feed them when they're about to ship them to the various destinations. By the time that they've got to their destination, they are fully recovered before using them or reselling them to other slave merchants. And at night, some of the slave officers, the senior officers, the governors, they normally give orders to the general officers to pick some of the ladies and bath them and bring them into their very rooms. And they will force them to do several activities with them. Some of them later became pregnant because so many people forced them to have sex with them while they were being kept in these slave dungeons. And most of these ladies were innocent. They never had sex before, and they forced them to take away their innocence. And on top of it happens to be what we call the spy room. They've assigned some officers on top. Their duty was to periodically look down to check on whatever the slaves were doing. And each dungeon or confined has only one source of ventilation. So this where we are standing, this is the only source of ventilation for the 100 to 150 people being kept here. You can see the thickness of the walls of the slave dungeon. How could they break these walls and escape? And this walls was made with solid stones. And they sit on these same bare floors in slave shackles. So whatever space, little space that you get, that's why you're going to sit down. So they're sleeping on each other. For a long period. just 99, a little percentage of them had the privilege to be moving out within these 3 months to 6 months. There are those that we call the domestic slaves. They use them to serve them in their rooms and their various places on daily basis. And most of them were ladies. So they work from morning till evening. When it is evening, they bring them back into the slave dungeons to come and spend their night. But about 99% of the slaves never had a chance to step out. Within that 3 months to 4 months, they are just at one place. It is only when the slave ship arrived that they brought them out to put on the slave ship and they take them away. So gradually, when the business is expanding, they took a decision to extend more dungeons. We are going to see other dungeons that are extended, and from there we see the only exit point where all the slave ones exited and never came back again.
Same story.
Today we are lucky because today it has rained today. The weather is a bit cloudy. You cannot feel the heat. But when it's all sunny day, if you are inside, the level of heat that emanates from the dungeon is it's hard for you to bear with it. So when the slaves were also kept in there, some of them were categorized as stubborn slaves because they always prove resistance to their masters. So they call those group of slaves the stubborn ones. So sometimes they try to punish one of them to serve as a lesson to other group of slaves so that they could not copy or imitate their behavior. So they could pick one stubborn slave out of the dungeon and punish him on this courtyard. When about to render the punishment, the remaining slaves were being brought out to witness this kind of punishment. You know what they to do to them sometimes? They could hang a stubborn slave on this courtyard for him to die in front of the others. Sometimes they could slaughter a throat of a stubborn slave for him to fall down and struggle and bleed until he has died. And sometimes they could burn a slave alive. Yeah, these are things that they do in this slavery business that they normally try to not to talk about it. Yeah, these are things that they do to some of the slaves. They could burn a slave alive on this courtyard for them to witness. So these are some of the things that they do to suppress them psychologically also. So at a point in time, most of the slaves were afraid to, as soon as they see them, very, very afraid of them. When other new ones were brought to come and join them, they always advise them and tell them some of these stories. That you should be careful when they try to put stuff on these, are they are going to kill them. And these are for the cannons. We call them the cannon oaths. They normally put cannons in it, which they use to attack their enemies from this direction. But because they were not spaced over here to put more dungeons, they just went out of the main entrance and put underground caves. So those are the west dungeons that we are going to see. In the black metallic plate that we just walked on, was a graveyard of one of the Danish governors. He has served them in this castle for so many years. And when he died, they took a decision to bury him within the confines of their castle. So at that time, within the colonization era, if you had to be buried within the confines of the castle or a fort, it was a sign of respect. So he was diagnosed with malaria and they tried to cure him, couldn't stand off it, and so at a point in time, he lost his life. So he was the only governor that was buried within the courtyard of the castle. He was buried at the main entrance. But the courtyard that we stood over there to, some of the few administrators who died while serving them in these castles were also being selected to be buried at the courtyard. So some of the few, even though they had a cemetery outside of the castle, some of the few staff were selected to be buried within the courtyard of the castle. So you see the underground dungeons over there. That's how the design is going. They strategically closed the walkway that leads to the underground cave. They did make sure that when the slaves are moving, they move one at a time. So two people could not move, it was one slave at a time. Because there were slave shackles that were dragging each other. So there that we see the extensions of dungeons. Over there to this house, the only exit point for all the slaves that were kept before joining the slave ship. No. Wait, I can't wait. What's happening to Akami?
No, now we can go.
someone coming?
Yes.
Wait.
Wait.
All use of flashlight. Here is very dark.
Watch your head. Watch
Your
your head.
head.
Watch your head. Your head.
Hello.
You see, watch your head. So this is how they extended the underground. We call it a cave. The slaves were not kept where we are standing. But rather, if you look 10 behind, you see a cave inside. So that's the cave that they kept the innocent people. They kept about 100 to 120 people in this very first cave. And you can see here, the ceiling is very low. You see the level of the ceiling. And they could not stand upright. You bend down and walk until you get a place to sit down. And they kept them here also for several months and weeks, just awaiting for the slave ship. And this is the only source of ventilation to serve them. That's very. They only tried to put this in such a way it would be difficult for them to have the chance of exiting from. And there was a small entrance here, like that of a cell. So the slaves were just inside and just watching outside. And it continues. This is not the only cave. It goes to the second one.
Mind your head.
Other extensions of caves over here, which has two chambers. So here has the first chamber and an inner chamber. So if you like, you would have walked from the first chamber, first cave, you could have found yourself within the second part of this chamber of the cave. So people were kept at the first chamber and a lot were kept. You could walk inside and see them. So the one inside is as similar as the first one that we saw. The ceiling in there is very low. And it can connect each other. You can see the walkway joining each other.
Yeah.
How do you-
That joins the first cave and the last cave. They link with each other.
Wow. They could only lay down in
People were
there.
kept in there. That's no ceiling. They sat down there.
They would only be able to lay down. You can't stand in there.
The last one was here.
You see?
You sleep here.
Yeah.
Oh. Just one source of ventilation. Each point has just one source of ventilation to serve it.
But they would only have to sleep, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't stand
You
up.
won't stand up, yeah. Just have to sitting down and sleeping all the time. So that's the last part here. So in all, it will contain about 400 people in total. Meaning here takes a lot of slaves as compared to the outer one. And this is where some of them became blind. Because we were exposed to high level of darkness for several months and weeks. When they brought them out to put on the slave ship, you realize some of them could not see anymore. And these individuals were classified as waste slaves. That's the name that they gave it to them. Some also had infections that they were about to die. And they never allowed them to join the slave ship that they waste their water and food. So they are also being classified as waste slaves. And those people that they classified as waste slaves, they gunned them down to kill them at just the shore. Yeah, these are individuals who that they killed in this process that they never tried to talk about it. All the slaves that they classified as waste slaves were all being gunned down. That's what they normally do. They just bury them. And the remaining ones were being offloaded onto the slave ship and being taken away. So from here, we are going to see the only exit point for the slaves, where they once exited and never came back again. And we talk about the destinations that they went to. So can you watch your head? After spending 3 months to 6 months in the slave dungeons, finally they were all brought out. And about 90% of them, these are first time to encounter a big sea like this, because they were brought from the mainland. They've never seen a big ocean or sea like this, so they became frightened. And the smaller boats were parked at this shore, and the big ship was parked somewhere in the middle of the sea. That's what they normally do. So when the slaves were brought out, they matched all of them on the smaller boats at the shore, not to the shore. could have seen smaller boats parked here, awaiting these innocent people. So they brought all of them out to this shore, then offload them onto the smaller boats here. And the smaller boats was used to convey them to the big slave ship, parked them in the middle of the sea, which is about 2 miles or 1.5 miles from the sea. That's what they normally do. So on their way, some also died on the slave ship, who were dumped into the sea for sharks and other fishes to feed on their body. And all the slaves that were shipped from this castle by the Danish were sent to the Caribbean, some part of the Caribbean that we call the US Virgin Island, the modern day US Virgin Island. It was a former Danish colony that were known as the Danish West Indies, island of St. Thomas, St. John's, and St. Croix. So it was after slavery that they sold it to the US around 1917. That's why it has been named to be called the US Virgin Island. So those people that you see on the island of St. Thomas, St. John's, and St. Croix, majority of them, this is where the ancestors came from, formerly being shipped by the Danish. And they use them to plant crops like cotton and sugarcane. It was mostly sugarcane that they invested into it. So they harvest their product from the Caribbean, then ship it to Denmark, then come back again, back to West Africa in Ghana, and ship slaves to the Caribbean. It was like a triangular trade until they abolished slavery around 1807. So we talk about slave trade in Africa, they are part of it. This is where they ship millions of Africans from this slave castle to the Caribbean. That's why we always call it the point of no return. Because as a slave, your foot never step out from this gate and make it back again. So if you are classified as a West slave, this is where they shoot you down to kill you. So we assume that most of the land close to the castle, that is where they buried most of the West slaves. So they just dug the people and dump their bodies in it and just covered it up. That's what they normally do. And the remaining ones, they didn't take it out.
There's a location in Sierra Leone called Bones Island. It has a similar story. Yeah, it was a slave castle, slave dungeon. It also has a place of no return. Yeah, it has similar where you put the slaves, you know. Yeah.
So that's why they carry slaves. Maybe when it is maybe let's say it was a British slave ship.
Yeah, that was the British slave colony.
Yeah, so it will carry slaves from Ghana and get to Sierra Leone. So that's why they want before they take them out.
Yeah.
Very sad.
It was an island, so it was fully secured.
Fully secured.
Yeah, it was an island.
Just like the one in Senegal.
Okay.
It's a similar one to in Senegal. Bird of island. sold it to the British. And then before it finished, contain this one. And the best option was water. So they put the fish pond on top of it, fill it with water and running fishes. You see it as a fish pond for decoration, boiling of fishes, but its main purpose was to be used to contain all the screaming, the shouting, and the crying of these innocent people. You know, that's one good characteristic of a water. Water is very good in absorbing sound by vibrating. From here we have a tour of the British Garden. That's the design of the garden. So we see it as a nice garden, but there's a sad story attached to it. So the castle used to end at where we drove from. You see the stone wall below it. That's the original demarcation of this castle when the Danish people built it. And from here was an indigenous community. People were once living their lives. These are the people that they came and met, living very close to the coastal line when they arrived. We call them the Osu Alata people. So the Osu Alata people, this was once their ancestral land. When the British came, they brought a tax system. And these people had witnessed slavery. They saw slavery passing through their communities into the slave castle. But then slavery wasn't introduced to their community until it's later introduced to the coastal community. So later on, slaves were being captured from these communities, being sold, being kept in this castle before taking them away. So these people witnessed this slavery aspect, and later on the British imposed a tax system. After slavery, the British brought a major tax system within all the colony of Ghana that they call the poll tax ordinance. It was a compulsory tax. So far as an adult, you are supposed to pay these taxes to the tax collectors. The people refused not to pay it, but the British government insisted that these taxes are meant for the administration of the colony and for developmental projects. So they is forced to collect these taxes for majority of the people because they refused not to pay it. You have to force them to pay it. So until some time, the people became fed up, and they tried to demonstrate against these taxes. All those two communities came together. All the people came all together to demonstrate it. Their leaders, when they got to the main entrance of the castle, they were stopped, and the message was sent to the governor in his office. The governor said he's not ready to listen to none of them, that they should drag them away. The people, their leaders stood with their people for so many hours, and nobody was ready to attend to them. So at a point in time, they have to drag them away. By pushing them, it became a bit of violence, but they were able to repel them back. So the people later went back to their communities that they could plan next time again. So when they left, the British governor was in his office on top looking at whatever that was going on. So he became afraid. After the incident, he had a meeting with his staff and told them that if they are not careful, look at the nature of the demonstration, the people can take them by surprise one day to attack them. So they have to do something to put fear in them. So they took a decision to attack these communities with the purpose of putting fear in them. On quite afternoon, one of their big navy ships came and parked on this coastal line of this community. And all the smaller cannons on top of these castles were directed to face the closer communities living close to the castle, and gave them order to bombard it. So they bombarded these communities for so many times. It lasted about 2 to 3 hours. Flying cannon bombs from the navy ship parked on the coastal line, those coming from the castle. They destroyed the houses, the livelihood of these local people. Some even died before they were sleeping in their rooms when this bombardment was going on. Because it was mud houses, clay houses, the houses of these local people were completely rubbled down. After the incident, there was no place for them to seek shelter. So the leaders took a decision to evacuate all of them to a place that they could seek shelter temporarily. They later come back again to redevelop their communities. This incident occurred around 1854, just 4 years later after the British took over this castle from the Danish. Before they could come back, the British governor took a decision to seize this part of the community of the people from them. So those that were living on this land, they couldn't return back on the indigenous land because the British government made them create a fence to cover it up and turn it to the castle. Then gradually asked them to convert this piece of land into a garden. So that's how this part of the community was developed into a garden by the British since 1850. It's an old garden. which was started to be created by the British since 1854. Later became a big garden that the governor was using it for ceremonial activities, having parties and playing on the sports in the middle park over there. And when we took over from the British from 1957, it was still maintained to serve as a garden for the president. And the president were using this castle. That's why this residence was put up over there. We call it the family residence of the president. So that's where the president of the day normally comes once in a while with his family to have time together. So you are going to walk around to have a look at the design of the garden or exist. That's why the British design, and they've never changed the design of the garden. Like they maintain it. Some of the trees are very old. Some of them were 150 years old. Now they're planted by the British. The government have been planting new trees to replace the old ones. That's the sad story behind this beautiful garden. Once a community is every day, people away from the local people.
Have you ever sought compensation?
And then it is when the government of Ghana took it over, that tried to give them little bit of compensation to the local people. So it was part of the indigenous land. It was not part of the land that the white people had access at the beginning to put their castle on it.
Yes.
And we know this story. We bombarded this, we attacked these innocent people. Try their houses and some to die.
Similar stories across West Africa. We have another story in Sierra Leone. We have a leader called Baibue who fought against the British because the British imposed a hot tax. Hot tax, you have to pay for your hot. You used to live in mud houses, so the British asked them to pay taxes for their houses, and he refused.
So it was similar. That was similar event. Yeah. It was similar. They call the poll tax. It's a compulsory tax. So the people refused, but they were using forces through the officers, intimidating them. They were paying it. That's how they designed the garden all over. There's a small water fountain, all being done by the British. Last time they keep on redeveloping it. That's how they design it. The pergola, that's how the British design it. Planting flowers on top of it. It's a small water fountain. That's a little part. And then they design it to use it to play all the sports, cricket, golf.
That room is impossible. That room that we went.
Oh.
Yeah, it's possible. Few people.
Let's come down this way.
Really nice.
I used to do photography and side hustle.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
This one looks different when you take pictures. Okay. Professional photography?
Yeah.
So this vehicle was used by the president that I told you about, the military president. Yeah, so this is one of his bulletproof car that he used before. He was found driving it and he was attacked and survived from that. So ever since they came and parked the vehicle over here. He was also attacked by that. I never knew that it was a bulletproof car. I can show you. Because this castle is very important in our national monument and culture, our government decided to use some portion of this castle to print one of our currency. That's a 50 series note. If you watch on our 50 series paper note, you see a picture of this background, of this castle on it. The staircase that we use inside, the presidential staircase, it is also found on the 50 series currency. The one on top. It is part of that one is good 1950. Not all of it is old. Some of it was good later. These are the basics. And the part that was extended around 1950. So those that we started at the beginning, here we bring down to the grand part of the top. I hope it was well informative and creative tour that we have.
So this concludes the tour of Osu Castle. It was a great experience. I learned some new information and I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.